So, guys,
didn't make it to Goodison Park today, and I bet
I've
you're very
had
angry.
a dodgy stomach. I've had a dodgy stomach this morning, and I don't think I've ever been more desperate to get back on the toilet than during that first half. I think.
Oh mate,
Honestly, it
speedy
was an
recovery.
absolute. So I'll be all right. I'm starting to feel a bit better, but yeah, I mean, definitely not during that first half. Well, during most of that game, to be honest, it was just atrocious, absolutely atrocious. We were just all over the place, all over the place. We were gifting chances left, right, and centre. Kinski was making fingertip saves onto the post. We had one chance from Son, but that was pretty much it. Other than that, we really failed to trouble them. This team's on its knees at the moment. I think we can all see that. I think Mikey said, almost Amir said, I was just listening, this team seemed to be lacking confidence at the moment, and that's absolutely right. And you can see that this team is drained of everything that they have in terms of having that psychological edge on your opponent to physically dominate them, to be completely relentless in your approach. I think we just don't have that at the moment. It's completely drained out of this team. I think obviously big questions have to be about Ange. Of course, there have to be a bit of big questions, because I think Mikey's spot on when he says this. He's not built for a relegation fight. I don't know. I don't think he knows how to deal with this current situation. I think that's absolutely spot on. I think he keeps, persisting with his style of play, which I don't think his style of play is a bad thing or a problem in of itself. But I do think the style of play is a problem in the situation that we're in, 100%. And we're dropping down the table. We're falling every single week. We're getting further and further closer to this to the relegation zone and dragged into relegation battle. And now the big problem is, I've always said, I'm not backtracking or anything. I'm not saying I want him gone, but here's the reality. Here's the way I see it. I've always said I do think things will start to turn when we do get players back, or maybe some signings, all these different things. But the problem is, we're now on the 19th of January. There'll be no signings, and I don't think there's any sign of a signing coming in the near future, which is a big problem. And whenever we seem to get players back, we're losing more players. Now Solanke's got injured. Now Brennan's gotten injured. So I'm starting to now lose faith whether we are going to ever come back to a situation where we have options and we have a fully fit squad. Doesn't have to be fully fit, but we don't have a serious number of injuries, because now, Solanke reportedly could be a long-term injury. Brennan, he's saying could be a significant one. Who knows how long he's going to be? So we're going to get maybe Romero and Van de Ven back, and all of a sudden we're going to get more long-term injuries, which we're going to have to deal with. And that's a big problem. And while this injury list persists to be in the state that it's in, as I've always said, I don't see the results changing until the situation changes. And the problem is, I'm struggling to see where the situation changes now with these injuries, and I just don't think he's the guy to get us through this situation where we are right now. I don't think he can handle it. I don't think he is built for an absolute dogfight. I don't think he's built for getting results when the resources are as thin as they are, and that's a big issue, because if that's not going to change, then we really are in a relegation dogfight, 100%.
So Sim, are you Ange out or are you Ange in?
I'm not Ange out. I want him to stay, to be honest. But as I've said, I'm losing faith whether this situation with the state of the squad is going to significantly improve. And if it's not, then I think there's got to be a serious conversation about the manager.
We know it's not. We know it's not. I think it's pretty much fact right now that the situation's not going to change.
I mean, it's opinion, but I think it looks with each increasing week that the situation isn't going to change, and we're going to keep getting injuries.
More players are going down week by week. We're overplaying players, and they're ultimately going to get injured. He doesn't want to give players a shot from the go, like a Reguilon and a Mikey Moore and these kind of guys. So, I mean, how does anyone envisage the situation getting any better in terms of the playing staff?
The only way it gets better is we get players back so that we can rotate, but that doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. The minute we get players back, more players are dropping off. So that's a big problem. That is a massive problem. And if that's going to continue to happen, then clearly Ange has shown that he's not capable in this situation of getting results while the state of the squad is what it is. And you might just need, honestly, if this situation continues, you might have to just bring in a short-term firefighter until next season, because Ange doesn't look like he's willing to do what's necessary to get results in the situation that we're in at the moment, and that's the way I see it. So we were a disgrace today for large parts of the game. Obviously, we had a bit of a late comeback, but the game was gone by then. We only really seemed to show any sort of ability to cause some problems when Mikey Moore came on. And that was one big positive out today was Mikey Moore. So fair play to him. I thought he came on and really gave them torrid time down the left-hand side. Obviously, brilliant assist for the Richarlison goal as well. But it shouldn't need Mikey Moore to come on to try and salvage a situation when he's the 17-year-old in the room here. Again, let down by a lot of our, apart from maybe Decky, who comes with a bit of credit, we let down again by a lot of our senior players today. The defence, I hate to say it, Archie Gray had a bit of a mare. Dragoshin had a mare today. Spence was decent, to be fair, but again, as I've always said, as soon as he gets to the final third and he's using his left foot, he just doesn't use it, and he can't seem to do much with it. But he's good with his dribbling and he fights. So he was good. The midfield, non-existent. Sarr, another no-show. Maddison, not doing anything in that midfield again today. I can't remember. But, to be fair to, I mean, it's hard to be fair. And obviously, I understand everyone's laying into me. He goes for a different formation today, which everyone's been calling for, change it up, tried something new. He did that, and it fell flat on his face. It completely didn't work, the new formation, how he tried to play. It got completely, completely fell flat on his face. It completely backfired, that change of formation. So, yeah, I'm obviously, the more we go towards the relegation zone, I'm not going to be more Ange the more than I was the previous week, the more the results keep going the way they're going. He's got a massive fire on his hands to keep his job right now, 100%.
How long do you think?
I don't think he will be sacked, though.
How long do you reckon Levy gives it?
If he loses to Hoffenheim and loses to Leicester, I think he might be gone after those two games, to be honest.
And do you think that'll be the right decision?
I don't think Levy can. We can't be dragged into a relegation fight. I don't think Levy.
I think we're already there. Mate.
We're there, Sid.
We're there.
We're in a relegation fight.
We're in a relegation fight, but we are 8 points clear at the moment. I know they've got games in hand. We're 4 points away from Everton, where they got a game in hand. But I think from Wolves and Ipswich, what are we? 7 or 8 points?
8 points, yeah.
8 points. So I don't think that there's any, as much as we're all talking about it, and if we keep losing, 100%, there's a real possibility that we'll be dragged into a serious relegation fight. At the end of the day, we are 8 points away. So I don't think there's any real concern that we are going to get relegated as much as we are talking about it. But if we do keep losing games, that concern will start to turn. And the problem is, the situation isn't changing with these injuries. We keep adding players to the list, not taking players off that list. And if that continues, and Ange continues to not be able to pick results with that situation, then he can't stay. It just can't. It can't happen because we're going to keep. We can't be in the championship next season. We can't.
Sim, you talk about the form won't change until the situation changes, right? Mm-hmm. How much blame, if any, do you put on Ange Postecoglou for the situation that we're in right now?
When it comes to injuries?
Yeah.
Obviously, the market, I don't really put blame on him. It's not his job, but obviously he's accepting the situation. He keeps outwardly saying he's happy with the way the club is working, but obviously a lot of fans, and we're all very, very frustrated that we've got, another 10 days of the window to go, and we've got so much work to do this window. How much blame to upon Ange for the situation that we're in? Yeah, he takes blame. I wouldn't say it's completely on him, but he definitely takes blame, for sure. As a percentage-wise, how much is his fault entirely? How much is luck? Like you look at Solanke, it's complete luck. It's just he goes for a shot and he tweaks something. You go for Vicario, that's complete luck. I think with some of the centre backs being injured, some of it is maybe his fault. Some of it's also unlucky as well. It's hard to really say. It's hard to say. I think if we were to put all the blame on him, I think he'd be the first manager that's ever gotten the full blame for a full injury list, to be honest. So I don't think it's fair to completely say it's completely all down to him. But he can't be blameless because he has overpaid players. There are players who he maybe could have given a rest to, and players that have been out in the cold where he could have given them more minutes to, like Jed Spence, and only now they're seeing to get significant minutes. People maybe could he have given Mikey more game time. I mean, he is a 17-year-old kid, so you do have to be careful with him. But come on and done really well today. So I don't know. Would you want a number, percentage-wise? How much blame? It's hard to quantify how much blame do I put on Ange. I would say it's more luck than anything. I would say it's Ange's fault that they're in the situation we're in. But for sure, he takes blame. He definitely takes blame for how he's handled the situation, 100%, and the way that he's contributed to the way we play while we have 10 injuries, and that's on him, 100%.
Are these players, Sim, still fighting and believing in what Ange is trying to build here and do?
Clearly, week by week, we're losing more and more confidence, and more we lose games. I think that's clear. Are they still fighting? Oh, look, we've got it back to 3-2. I don't think they didn't completely give up, did they? So they tried to salvage the situation. I still think, when I'm looking at the team there, they are trying. I think at the moment, it's just a bit of a shit show. And I think we are in the situation that we're in. But just because they're trying, and just because that's not enough at the moment when we're...
Did you really see that in the first 45 minutes of play? Or did you see that when players like Mikey Moore and Richarlison, who have got something to prove, come on and actually sway the game? Did you see that in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say yes when we were that bad, but I mean, I didn't see people giving up completely. I think they were trying. I think they were obviously trying to create chances, but obviously Everton did defend very well, but we were obviously toothless up front. And they were just going long every time to Calvert-Lewin and Dragoshin and Davis, couldn't handle it, and they completely got dominated. And they were, yes, we were also left wide open, played that high line, which we know that Ange does, and they completely exploited it many times with Calvert-Lewin in behind. I just think it's a team suffering from a massive crisis of confidence and a crisis of what's called lack of energy. We know the situation. I think that feeds into each other. The more you have a lack of confidence, and you see when momentum swings, all of a sudden the energy levels go up. It's a lot of it's psychological when you look at the players on the pitch. 100%. A lot of it is psychological. Do I think they've given up on the manager, on the players? As I've said before, it's hard to really say. When it's a fine line when you're watching the team. Is that player not making the run because he physically can't or because he doesn't want to? It's hard to really know what's in a player's head. All I know is they went to the end. They tried to fight back. They did get back in the game, and obviously it was too little, too late when they did. But on that evidence, I would say I don't think they've completely given up on the manager. But unfortunately, that's not enough at this point.
Well, I'll end on one positive, Sim, and Man City are 2-0 up against Ipswich. So I guess
there you go.
That's a positive in terms of the relegation battle. But thanks for coming on, Sim. See you tomorrow.
Big up,
That's
Sim.
fun, guys. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to everyone. I saw loads of super chats as well. So big up to everyone supporting the channel. So hope for better days.